Hello everybody. We're here by the river in Buxton. This is the Stevenson's River, which flows through Marysville. The Stevenson's Falls is one of the best waterfalls in Victoria. That's just up the road there. This morning I had a look over to my right here and there was a beautiful tiger snake that was sitting there sunning itself, and it surprised me. But I let it live because we want to make sure that we don't make enemies of the snakes around here. And we are in nature, so you know they've got just as much right to be here as we have. But they're definitely not coming near the yoga studio over here, which I have some candles, not for any spiritual reasons, just mainly to keep the mosquitoes away. And we're going to be doing some yoga. So welcome, thank you for coming. Now this is a pre-recorded session because I know that tomorrow is going to rain, and I wanted you to experience the sound of the river. I'm going to be basically doing the voiceover later on today, and talking you through the different poses. Okay, yoga means union. Okay, so union between what? What's the union? Okay, so the union is between the mind and your body. Okay, so the mind can sometimes be working independently of the body. So when we are, thinking about things, whatever, and then we trip over something or we twist an ankle, that's because our minds have taken over. Okay, but if you're in your body, then you experience everything that's going on. So when you're cooking, you're cooking. When you're rowing, you're rowing. You're not somewhere else. So yoga is a practice that is designed to bring you into the present moment so that you can be fully present when you're doing it, okay? And that in itself gives you freedom, it gives you peace, and it gives you a sense of euphoria, which is the same thing we feel when we're going rowing and we get into that nice rhythm and everybody's connected and you're feeling the gliding of the boat, and your mind just becomes one with the boat and one with the river, okay? So it's the same thing, but now we're doing this stretching movements, coordinating with the breathing, okay? So that we can experience that sense of peace, that sense of expansion that is there, which brings the joy and the euphoria as well, okay? So we're going to start with doing sun salutations that similar to what we've been doing at the rowing club. So sun salutations, it's a sequence of different postures. We're going to hold each posture for about 3 breaths before we move on to the next posture. And that is so that we can warm up, because normally you would hold the posture for a lot longer, but to warm up we're going to do it just so that each posture for 3 breaths. And I'll talk you through it. There'll be a voiceover coming later, okay, which I'll put in tonight. But in the meantime, I just want you to listen. Also, if I'm not talking, to the sound of the river in the background, so it can really help you relax. And it's almost like bringing nature into your rooms, wherever you are. Okay, so stay with me. We're going to do these 7 rounds of these sun salutations. And here we go. So stretch up towards the ceiling with your arms and breathe in. And then as you breathe out, take hold of your calves and bring your whole body towards your thighs. Keep breathing. Then stretch up and make a tabletop with your back. And look up. See if you can grab your toes. Then take the left leg back onto a lunge and keep the knee off the ground. Then we're going onto a plank with the arms straight. There's the plank. And then onto a half push-up. Hold it for 3 breaths. And then onto the top of your feet and onto the Cobra Pose. Back onto your toes and onto Downward Facing Dog as you exhale. Then inhale and come forward, this time with your left leg forward, left foot between your hands, and then bring your right foot forward and keep your back straight like a tabletop, and then bring your head towards your knees. Inhale, come back up, stretch up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing, and as you breathe out, come back to mountain pose. Chest out, shoulders down. And we start again. Arms up as you inhale. Keep breathing. And then as you exhale, coming down, bring your head to your knees. Keep breathing. And then inhale and make a tabletop with your back. Then take your left leg back onto a lunge and stretch up. And then we are inhaling and onto a plank. And then exhale and come down to a half push-up. Hold it for 3 breaths. Then inhale and we go up onto the Cobra Pose. Exhale and Downward Facing Dog. Bring your chest towards your knees. Left foot forward, inhale. Keep breathing. Right foot forward, inhale. Keep breathing. Exhale and bring your head to your knees. Then inhale, bring your hands to your ceiling. Keep breathing. Exhale, back to the beginning. Continue doing this. Inhaling, reaching up, stretching from the heels to the fingertips. Exhaling, bring your head to your knees, keep your legs straight. Keep breathing. Inhaling and make a tabletop with your back or straighten it up. Then take your left leg back and do a lunge. Keep your knee off the ground. Exhale and onto a plank and then a half push-up for 3 breaths. Then inhale and Cobra Pose. Keep your knees off the ground. You're on the tops of your feet. Then back onto the bottom of your feet, doing the Downward Facing Dog. Then bring your left leg forward between your hands onto a lunge. And now straight back, first of all, as you inhale, and then as you exhale, bring your head to your knees. Keep your legs straight. And then inhale, coming back up, hands towards the ceiling, stretching up, and as you exhale, coming back to center. Once again, arms up, stretch up through the fingertips, keep your heels grounded. Exhale, coming back down, head to your knees, legs straight. Keep breathing. Inhale, make a tabletop with your back. Then, as you exhale, take the left leg back onto a lunge. Inhale and onto the plank. And then exhale and onto a half push-up. And then inhale and the Cobra Pose. Back bend, knees off the ground. Onto the Downward Facing Dog. Bringing your chest towards your knees. Then bring your left leg forward as you inhale. And lunge. Then right leg forward, back straight. Mosquito. And knees and head to the knees. Keep breathing. Inhale, come back up, stretch up through your fingertips and the side ribs, and exhale, coming back to the beginning. Once again, arms up, breathe, and stretch up, exhale, head to your knees, inhale, straighten your back, you can take hold of your toes, then take your left leg back onto the lunge, and stretch up, and then right leg back onto a plank as you inhale, and then as you exhale onto a half push-up, and then inhale onto the Cobra Pose. Bringing the chest through so you can really stretch the upper back. Onto the downward facing dog as you exhale, and then inhale, bring your left foot forward between your hands, and then inhale, bring the right leg forward and onto that, and then head to the knees. For 3 breaths, inhale, come back up, stretch up through the fingertips, and exhale back to Tadasana. Once again, just follow the image, listen to the rhythm. Okay, well done to you all. Well done to you all. You can have a little bit of a break now. Just get your breath back. It's hard to know where to stand on this thing. I'm standing here. I'm staying put. So, sun salutations. You should be feeling a little bit warmer now. Your mind will be in a different state now because you've been focusing on your breathing. You'd be a lot calmer, more centered. So now we are going to ramp it up a little bit and do some standing poses, which help to strengthen as well as improve your flexibility, as well as using the breath, okay, to stay focused. They bring you into that present moment, which is what we want. The present moment awareness is what we're looking for. So when you feel discomfort, you're allowed to come out of the pose. You're allowed to come out of the pose and give yourself a little break. If your arms are getting too sore, you can do this a couple of times and that'll help you to stay there for a little longer. Try to stay with it for as long as we do it, which will be about a minute. And if you feel any pain, obviously don't go any further. Okay, so discomfort is good. You can push through discomfort. Usually your mind will give up before your body gives up. So try to stick with it. But if you feel any pain, obviously, then it's best not to continue. Okay, and yeah, so we're going to do some standing poses now. Okay, so we will start with Tadasana. So feet together, and then rotate your thighs in. Okay, and then also bring the sacrum through, and then shoulders back and down. And this is the mountain pose, Tadasana. And here you should feel a very strong foundation coming from the legs and stretching from the waist up towards the crown of the head. Next we'll be doing the tree pose. You can see you bring your right heel to the touching the inner thigh of your left inner thigh. And once you've got that heel in there nicely secured, then you can go into a prayer pose, or you can have your hands on your waist, or you can have your hands above your head, like I'm doing. And in this position, the work is that you're trying to press your heel into the inner thigh, and you're also trying to press from the inner thigh onto your heel, so you've got some reaction. And at the same time, you're trying to stretch your right hip so it's going back. So you're opening your hips as well. Okay? And then as you exhale, you always keep breathing, coming back to center. Then we bring the other heel, my left heel onto my right inner thigh. You can go into prayer position and balance there, or hands on hips, or hands above your head like I'm doing. Pick a spot in front of you and focus on that spot and try to maintain a steady gaze on that spot. It'll help you with your balance. Working on opening your hips, so you're trying to take that left knee back, okay, to open up the hips. Keep pressing the heel against the inner thigh. Keep the inner thigh pressing against the heel. Keep your foot, your grounded foot, nice and firm onto the mat. And as you exhale, coming back to center. That's the tree pose. Then we're going to jump the feet out to about a meter apart. Bring your right foot in about 15 degrees and your left foot out full 90 degrees. Make sure that there's a line between the front heel and the arch of the back foot, and they should be cutting straight through. And we're going to do the triangle pose. Okay, so stretching up through the left arm and cutting in at the left shin. Take hold of the left shin and
take your right arm up towards the ceiling. And in here, what we're trying to do is to try to take your right hip back and your left hip forward. So you're opening the hips and making sure that both legs are straight, and you can even look up at the hand. I'm looking straight at the camera, which is just for, for show. But if you can look up at your hand, that's fine. Then as you inhale, you come up, and then we take the left foot in, this time 15 degrees. Make sure your hips are squared to the front, and right foot out 90 degrees, and then we stretch over to the other shin, right hand cutting in at the right shin, and your left hand reaching up towards the ceiling. Okay, feel the stretch in your hips, keep your feet grounded, well grounded, and the work here is to keep your legs straight, especially that front leg, and also be opening the hips. So your left hip should be pushing back and right hip should be pushing forward. Your hips should be squared towards the front. Okay? And keep breathing. Always keep breathing. Never stop breathing when you're doing these poses. And as you inhale, come back to center. Then square your feet and jump them back together. Okay? Then just feel the effects of the pose. Then jump back out. And this time, once again, 15 degrees on your back foot, 90 degrees on your front foot, and we're going to bend that front knee down to 90 degrees. Left elbow on top of your thigh. Bring your right arm over the head on this side extended pose. And you keep breathing. With each exhalation, try to bring down that front hip a little bit more so you get more 90 degrees. And you can take your left hand and place it on the outside of your left foot so you can get more of a stretch on that side angle. Inhale, coming back, then turn to the other side. This time it's the left foot in 15 degrees, right foot out 90 degrees. Then we bend that front knee down to 90 degrees, elbow on top of the thigh, or on top of the knee, and left arm overhead, stretching the whole left side of your body from the heel, left heel, all the way to the fingertips. Then take your right hand to the outside of the right foot. You can touch on the floor if you can, otherwise just take hold of your shin and stretch. The stretch becomes more intense. Keep breathing. And as you inhale, you come back to center and jump the feet back together onto Tadasana. That's an skill. And once again, jumping the feet out. Right foot in, 15 degrees, hips squared to the front. Warrior pose number 2. Okay, so here we want the arms to be shoulder level. We want that front thigh to be dropping down to 90 degrees every time you exhale. Okay, every time you inhale, you're making sure that you're pressing hard on both the front and the back feet. Keep your body vertical. Keep your gaze looking straight to the middle finger of your left hand. This is the warrior pose, and you feel the qualities of the warrior. If you get a little bit shaky, just push through it, just stay with it. Keep breathing. Each time you exhale, drop that front thigh a little bit more. Okay, inhale coming back, turn to the other side. This time it's the left foot in 15 degrees, right foot out 90 degrees, hips squared to the front, and drop down on that front knee. Okay, coming down on that front thigh, making sure that the back arm is not going forwards, it's still lining up with the front arm. Okay, and each time you exhale, come down a little bit more on that front hip. Keep your body vertical. Feel the connection between the front and the back feet. Feel the shoulder blades dropping down. Look straight through the middle finger, front hand, and then come back to center. To Tadasana. Now we're having a little break, which what I want you to do is come forward, touch your toes, keep your back as straight as you can, so you can really give your back a good stretch, and then take your head towards your knees, so you can really give your back a good stretch as a break between the poses. Inhaling, coming back up and onto the next pose. From here we jump the feet out once again. Now we're going to turn the back foot in more like 45 degrees. We're going to square the hips. We're going to face the hips towards the front leg this time, and we're going to come down on that front knee 90 degrees, keeping the back leg straight and the heels down as much as you can. Take the arms up and look up between your hands towards the ceiling. This is warrior pose number 1. And the work here is each time you inhale, you're stretching up through the fingertips. Each time you exhale, you're dropping down a little bit further on that front hip. Make sure your hips are squared towards the front leg. Keep the breathing happening. Then turn to the other side. Okay, square the hips towards the front leg. Okay, back foot should be 45 degrees. Front foot should be 90 degrees. Arms up, look up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, stretch up through the fingertips. As you exhale, drop down on that front thigh a little bit further. Back leg straight. Please forgive my family in the background. So just keep stretching up through the fingertips. And yeah, look, my front leg wasn't quite squared, so I've taken it out a little bit. Make sure that I've got my knee not in front of my toes, but directly above my foot. Okay, then coming back to center and jumping the feet back together. Okay, that's warrior pose number 1. Okay, once again, we're going to take the feet out a little bit and come back down. Stretch your lower back with the back straight, touching your toes if you can. And then once we hold that for a few seconds, then we go on to head towards your knees, stretching the back of your legs, just hugging your legs, and then coming back to center. And that's all the standing poses. Now we're going onto the floor to do some downward facing dog. There I'm cleaning my mat. Okay. And straight onto downward facing dog. So the work when you're doing downward facing dog is really to keep your chest going towards your knees. Keep your thighs pushing back so your legs are straight. Keep trying to bring your heels down. Let your head hang between your arms, let your head hang. Make sure your palms are pressing down onto the mat, and that's the work. Now we're coming on to pigeon pose. So bring your left leg forward and make an L shape with your calf going across the body, like you see, and you can stay up in this position and feel the stretch, or you can just let yourself go over that front leg. And we're going to hold this for about 45 seconds. So just breathe through the discomfort that you feel and allow those muscles to just stretch. And it's not the most comfortable position, but you're going to get a lot of relief around your glutes, around your lower back, when you're doing this properly. Just breathe through it. Breathe through it. And really we're going into more restorative poses now. Then back onto downward facing dog. Okay, taking the chest towards your knees. Keeping the hands flat onto the mat. Keeping your back straight. Taking your tailbone towards the ceiling. Making sure your thighs are rotating in, making sure your hamstrings are stretching out, bringing your heels down, and then we're going to bring the other leg forward, your right leg forward. Make an L shape with your shin, and choose the position you're going to be on. I'm going for the full pigeon here, and even though it is a little bit uncomfortable, just breathe through it and allow the muscles around your glutes and around your thighs to stretch and relax. And continue breathing. Continue breathing through it all, every time. And the tendency is to hold our breaths, but the breath needs to be flowing always to allow the discomfort to be breathed out, as it were. Listen to the river. And we're coming back up to downward facing dog, as I can feel on that there, and keeping your arms straight. Okay, take your thighs back as far as you can. Bring your chest towards your knees, let your head hang. Keep your bum right up so it's the apex of the mountain. Okay. And now onto a back bend. Okay, take hold of your heels. Now you can be up on your toes if you want to get, if you want to bring those heels closer to your hands. So keep breathing here. Take your chest up towards the ceiling. It's quite an intense back bend, this is. You're trying to push through your chest. Okay, not so much your lower back, more your chest. Maybe making sure you're rolling the shoulders back and down, touching those heels, and also moving your thighs forward, making your buttocks strong, making your thighs strong, and coming back. And from there, we're going on to the child's pose. So opening up the knees a little bit and putting your head down on the mat, taking your hands back. And this is a restorative pose, so we've done a lot of work up to now, and now we're just starting to wind down in preparation for Shavasana and the meditation at the end. So just relax and listen to the river. Okay. And a few forward stretches. So this one is If you've got a bit of rope or a belt, you can wrap it around your feet and pull yourself forward, or you can pull yourself forward from your shins or some socks, or or you can touch your toes like I'm doing. Interesting, I also learned to sit on the front of my sitting bones, just like in the boat. So you can do that as well by doing what I just did, just rolling the skin of your bum back, so you're sitting on the front of your sitting bones, and then reach forward and stay there for 40 seconds or so. Keep breathing through it. And then feet apart. Once again, sitting on the front of your sitting bones, keeping your feet pointing up and just going between your legs, and taking hold of your left foot and doing a side bend, like you see there. Listen to the rhythm. And over to the other side. And making sure we're not lifting the hips off the mat. Make sure the hips are both on the mat as you stretch. You will get more of a stretch if you make sure you ground your hips as you stretch over your right leg, right thigh. And this is just a stretch that I think is very good for rowers. One leg over your knee and bring that knee towards your chest. It's sort of like a pigeon, except on your back. It's like pigeon pose on your back, but it's also stretching your buttocks and your lower back. And just feel the stretch and enjoy it. I'm looking at my clock there, that's why I keep turning. I'm trying to make it last for 45 seconds. Swap over. Go again. After I did the first lot of poses, I went to see if the snake was still there. The snake had moved away. So you never know, it might pop up somewhere in here. And this is a, left leg over and a twist. Take your left arm sort of shoulder level and then look to your left as you stretch your knee to your right side. And you give your whole lower back a nice twist and a beautiful stretch. Keep breathing through it all. I'm doing like that. And then take your right leg over your left leg and twist to the other side. Right shoulder out, shoulder level, right arm shoulder level. Turn to look at your right shoulder while you stretch over to your left side. And a beautiful twist. Great, so coming back up, just doing 5 circles in one direction, holding onto your knees, and then going back the other way. 5 circles going back the other way. So we can take all the tension out the lower back in preparation for lying down on your back in Shavasana, the corpse pose. Okay, so in this pose, all we want is just have your hands by your side and let everything become really heavy. Okay, starting with your feet, just feel your feet becoming heavy and melting into the floor. And then feel your calf muscles becoming heavy and melting onto the floor. And then feel the back of your thighs, the hamstrings, becoming heavy and melting onto the floor. Feel your breath going into your tummy and out from your tummy. So this is the breath of relaxation. As you exhale, exhale a little bit longer than you inhale. Allow your back to melt back into the floor. And then your shoulders, feel your shoulders getting heavy and then melting onto the floor. The back of your head feeling heavy and melting onto the floor. Your arms feeling heavy and melting onto the floor. So next, think about your face, your eyebrows, your eyes going deeper into their sockets, your cheeks just relaxing, your lips relaxing, your tongue relaxing, everything in your face relaxing, softening, melting. Your forehead relaxing, softening, melting. Your whole body is relaxing, softening, and melting. And you're becoming one with your environment. It's just your breath is all you can hear, and the sound of the water, and the sound of my voice. That's all you can hear. That's all you can feel. Allow your breathing to be deep and rhythmical. If you feel any tension in your body, you breathe to that spot. And then as you breathe out, you're breathing out all the tension that was being held there. With each inhalation, you're filling your body with new energy. With each exhalation, you're relaxing deeper and deeper. You're letting yourself go deeper and deeper. And you're relaxing more deeply than you ever have. And this is a great chance for your immune system to be boosted and for your mind to be recharged and your whole body to be recharged. Allow the sound of the river to be all that you can hear, and merge your mind with that sound. Allow yourself to go deep in the relaxation and completely let go of all the mental images and just listen to the sound of the water. Okay, so now gently bring yourself to a sitting position for our final meditation. Have your palms facing up, back straight, and visualize a golden beam of light coming through the crown of your head and filling every cell in your body with its golden, vibrant, loving, caring energy. Allow this energy to go to every cell in your body. Then visualize this energy going out from you to every corner of the room, and then the whole city, and the whole of Australia, and the whole of the world. And this energy will take care of any coronavirus, will take care of any ailments, any worries, and will make everything good again. Feel gratitude for what's just happened. And bring your palms together in front of your chest and namaste. Thank you all for participating. Well done. Bye bye.